Today I fucked up by telling the girl I was about to take on a date that I bought condoms. Jesus Christ. Alright, I'm done retching over that oilet out of embarrassment and ready to face to the music. This super sweet, nice woman in one of my courses, sophomore in college, had agreed to go on a date with me. This is the first date I've ever had, as I was pretty reclusive in high school. She's been super amazing and thinks my lack of dating knowledge is cute. Fast forward to this, a week after she agreed to go to a movie, and the movie is tonight. I tell my best friend at the time that I'm going to see a movie, and she, my friend, was super excited. She has a lot more experience and told me to go get condoms just in case. I didn't even think about that, since my intention was not to hook up with this girl. I listened and figured it wouldn't hurt to get them just in case anyways. I go to the store, get some, and text my friend I got the condoms. She responds within a minute of me texting her every time. She didn't, so I went back to look, and I had sent IT to the girl. She is very religious and just an innocent person, so this was a shock to her. My stomach cramped and I say over the toilet for a couple of hours. She finally responded to my desperate attempts of explaining myself with "alright, you don't need those." Fair. The kicker is that in 30 minutes I have class with her. Oh God help. Too long, didn't read, texted the wrong person, I got condoms. Probably lost the date, right? Own it, apologize, move on. Don't pressure her to do it. Follow up and say that message was meant for your really shy male friend who was too embarrassed to buy some for himself. Win-win. You look mature and supportive. Just tell them the truth. Apologize and let them know the story. Let them know your intentions and that you got the advice from a friend watching out for you. Either it becomes a funny story or she's still awkward about it. Can't get worse, right? Let them know your intentions. Hello, my name's Taurine, and I'm here to fuck your daughter. / to what? ? Taurine. If this will make you feel better, but I have a similar story. My daughter, when she was 17, was in a relationship with her boyfriend for a couple years. I had already assumed they were having sex, but beyond putting her on the pill, she didn't want to talk to me about it, and I didn't press. I was at my friend's house when my phone went off. I looked down to see a pic text. It was from my daughter. It was a box of condoms and sexy undies. It said, "We've waited 2 years, tonight's the night." All the color drained from my face. My friend thought someone died. I texted her back, this is awkward, and the 3 dots. Erased, 3 dots, erased. Followed with "I am dead now. I am never coming home again." I didn't want to make it any worse for her, so I just said "don't worry, be safe," and left it at that. She's 22 now, and it got brought up over Christmas break, and she buried her face in the couch cushion and said it was the single most embarrassing thing she ever went through, and that it ruined her anniversary, and they didn't even end up doing it for another few months. Poor kids. Shit happens, man. It was an innocent mistake. I hope this didn't blow your chances with her forever. You're a good parent. Lol, I texted a girl once thinking it was my friend telling him to come over cause these 2 chicks were down. Today I fucked up by accidentally going to a porn site in front of my whole family and then getting yelled at by my parents. As is tradition, this happened many moons ago when I was a teenager and we had one family computer in the living room, think mid-late 2000s. Here I was bored out of my mind, having spent a few hours on neopets.com already. I get this great idea to try spelling google.com in different ways and see what I discover. I begin replacing the GS in Google and hitting enter. I wander upon sites like doodle.com, foofle.com, hool.com, but then I make the grave mistake of using B and going to booble.com. Immediately my blood turns cold as a page of naked women loads and loud moaning starts to pour from the speakers. I panic and desperately try to close the window, but my fingers turn into noodles. I finally manage to close the page, only to turn around and notice both my parents and siblings staring, wide-eyed at me. I try to blabber some excuse of how this was a mistake and I didn't know what happened, but to no avail. I get grounded and lost computer privileges for a few days and had a not very fun talk with my parents. I never explored random sites on the family computer ever again. Too long, didn't read. Teenage me was checking out random spellings of google.com booble.com and ended up on booble.com, a porn site, in front of my whole family. I'm not the only one who searched up booble.com now, and I didn't pop up. I'd be funny to tell your parents that you actually didn't mean to now, just to see their reaction. In the mid-late 90s I enjoyed collecting email accounts by creating accounts at any free email provider that had an interesting name, bonus points if it had some cheeky pun in the name, for example, Microsoft. Back then, Hotmail was one of the most commonly used providers, and I thought it would be the height of comedy if there was a provider that had a pun on that. Turns out that Hotmail is not an email provider. I went on boobs.com with my friend, which maybe still exists. We got caught, got grounded, and now neither of us is straight, so I'd like to think that had something to do with it. I went on that website as a kid too, and now I'm gay. Flushed face, flushed face. Oh man, that's embarrassing, bro. Tell me about it. Interesting side note, their website still looks about the same. The logo that will haunt me forever is unchanged. Today I fucked up by forgetting to bring a hair tie to work. Buckle up, folks. This is going to be one hell of a ride. I work in an inpatient psychiatric hospital. 90% of the time, psych hospitals are nothing like the movies. Even the psychotic patients are generally pretty harmless and mostly just talk to themselves and pace around. This story is about one of the outliers. The worst patients are the ones who are pretty much just here because they are high off their ass and might be a danger to themselves as they come down. This guy was blitzed off his ass on K2 and very aggressive from the start. He came to us from a regular hospital after having surgery. He had a big incision in his stomach with staples. Because he was so aggressive and demonstrated self-harm, picking at his incision, biting himself, he was put on a 1-to-1 protocol, meaning someone has to be within arm's length of him at all times. I did that for 2 hours with no incident, and then someone else took over. At about 12:30 a.m., this guy, who had been sleeping, started screaming in his room. We rushed to investigate, and he was hitting himself and ripping at his incisions. He was spouting all kinds of crazy crap that didn't really make sense. You can't just sedate a patient, it has to be ordered by a physician. Since this is the night shift, there is no doctor in the building, just nurses and CNAs. We have to call the doctor, wake him up in the middle of the night, very grumpy, and get an order to sedate him. We call for backup from the sheriffs on duty, who provide security for the building, and then get ready to sedate him. I realize that I don't have a hair tie. My hair is long and down. Best case scenario, it'll be in my face. Worst case scenario, the patient can grab me and hurt me. We walk into the room and are hit by this awful shit smell. He's smeared it on the floor, the walls, everywhere. There he stands, naked as the day he was born, shit all over his arms and legs. We can't worry about that too much right now, there are more pressing matters. I gag a bit. We line up, ready to hold him. I'm a small woman, so I'm a little intimidated at the prospect of trying to restrain this big dude, but nonetheless I prepare myself. And then all hell breaks loose. Hands and elbows are flying, everyone is grunting and straining, and we are failing miserably to get this guy under control. We can hold him for a second, but not long enough to do the injection. While all this is going on, he is dragging everyone through his shit, smearing what's on him on us, and trying to bite us. Eventually, he does make purchase on my ear, and I recoil briefly in pain before getting back in the thick of it. The two sheriffs eventually get some handcuffs on him, and then we bring him to the ground. Because he bit me, and assaulted everyone really, they place him under arrest. His incision opened up, so he was bleeding a bit from his surgical wound. We hold him like that for an hour and a half, waiting for more law enforcement to arrive to transport him to jail. I still have no idea what took them so damn long, but restraining him was exhausting, even with him in handcuffs. Every single one of us was covered in his shit. It was on my shoes, my scrubs, my hair, it was awful. He just had to deal with it though. After he was hauled off to jail, still naked, still covered in shit, we mopped the room and tried to clean ourselves up as much as possible. I'm sitting here and typing this while wearing patient scrubs which are made out of paper. So this sucks. Too long didn't read. I had to wrestle a naked man covered in his own shit and high off his ass. I didn't have my hair put up, so he pulled my hair and bit my ear and I got shit all over me, and my hair. Wow, you are amazing. Nurses are the backbone of hospital and I know you're underpaid and underappreciated. Thanks for your work and the brilliant story. Thank you for putting up with everything you deal with. It obviously cannot be easy at times. Take some time and take care of yourself. Live and learn. In this case, he would have managed to grab something in all that chaos. What might have helped was a tight cap to put your hair up in before this started. If you had your hair in a tie, he could have grabbed the tie and pulled it out. Chaos and shit happens. Damn, this is awful. How recently did this happen? Started about 4 hours ago, ended about 2 hours ago. I don't think a hair tie would have saved you, but my gods, you are amazing for sticking with it.